Arsenal have gone 4 points clear of Manchester City at the top of the table. They've beaten Bournemouth 3-0. Declan Rice amongst the goal scorers. He also got man of the match as well. And he's in conversation now with Jules Bridge.
Yes, Declan, congratulations as this crowd sing Rice, Rice, baby as you walk off the pitch.
Gets me every time.
3 points, a goal and an assist. That couldn't have gone any better for you and your team today.
Yeah, I think you see in the first half it was domination. We could have been 4 or 5 if I'm being honest with you. I missed the sitter and I was fuming, to be honest. I couldn't let it go, and I knew there was an opportunity for me today to score, assist, and even for my goal then, I was back in my own half and I just sensed it. Bournemouth players were out on their feet and just kept going and arrived in a position that I'd done quite frequently today, and goal, assist and 3 points is, after speaking yesterday, it's what we needed.
Yeah, when we spoke yesterday, you said that you actually prefer assisting to scoring goals. It's 7 goals, 9 assists now. Do you still prefer assisting?
Do you know what? I do like assisting. It just feels good for some reason. I'm sure all the top players in the world will say that as well when they assist. It's just such a good feeling, especially for me, because I don't get to do it much. But look, I'm delighted. It was, like I said, it was a big result because they've been in some top form. They're a really good team. Big respect to them. But we knew today it was business, and we had to handle it.
Yeah, you talked about the amount of chances you had before you won that penalty. Did it feel like it was going to be one of those days?
Yeah, it can do. You look back at the Villa game the other week when we had 4 or 5 in the first half, and second half it's a bit cagey. Still think we can improve in the second half, become a bit of a basketball match, and that's not our game. Could have been a bit more composed. They caused a bit of chaos, and we caused our own damage really at times. But to win 3-0, get it over the line, now leads into another big one next week, and we're fully focused.
It didn't look like a huge moment like it was the way Saka just rolled that penalty in so coolly either, did it?
Yeah, fair play to him. Ever since the Euros, when he missed the penalty, I think his mindset on penalties and the way he practices them and the way he now takes them in different positions and different spots, full credit to him, because that takes courage, and he's been top at them for us.
Well, look, you're 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League table, potentially 2 games away from winning the Premier League title. How are you managing the nerves, the pressure, the excitement, all of it?
Do you know what? I think this year, obviously I wasn't here last year, but I think this year I can sense that we're just embracing it. Obviously, like you said, Man City, they're a machine. They win most of their games, but we can only focus on us, and we have been doing that in recent weeks. We've had an unbelievable 2024. I think the record that we've had is just out of this world. So look, anything can happen in football. Surprises happen, miracles happen, and we're obviously 2 games to go. We've just got to stay focused.
Well done today. You are the man of the match.
Thank you.
Another good day in the office, not only for Declan Rice, but for Arsenal as well. And his goal involvement continues to go from strength to strength. He played a key part, of course, in Leandro Trossard's all-important second goal. How much of this was down to desire by Declan Rice?
It's all about desire, and being in the right place at the right time. He gets in there and still knows, little flick with the outside of his right foot. He knows where Trossard is and sets him up nicely.
You can quite clearly see there from Trossard, he keeps his whip. Adam Smith, to be fair, is in the right position, good defending. But with Declan Rice making that burst, it's probably Seaman who lets him go. He gets distracted by Declan Rice, who makes that run. And by the time he goes in there, because Trossard's held his width, it's dropped him. And it's really good improvisation from Declan Rice, by the way, because it's behind him. Just leaves it in there, and it's a really good finish from Trossard.
And from provider to goal scorer himself.
Yeah, and he's what he deserves. The game he's had today has been brilliant again. And he was saying, I still not having that he likes assists more than goals, though. No chance. He's making the run there. He tells him where to put it. And I thought he'd gone too narrow then, but he just smashes it past the goalie. So, Great finish and a great end to the game.
He has got a good finish on him, Darren.
Yeah, again, maybe last season, while he's been at West Ham playing that more defensive role, we haven't seen it. We probably didn't see it earlier on in the first half of the season. But since he's got that Thomas Partey or Jorginho next to him, you're starting to see him express an open play, not his delivery from set plays, but an open play, and he drives forward. And that goal there, he comes from nowhere. And he said it in his interview. He said that I realised there was an opportunity there because the Bournemouth players looked dead on their feet, and he just senses it and just goes. But when he gets to that final third, so deadly in front of goal.
Before that third goal from Arsenal, Bournemouth thought they got themselves back into the contest. Antoine Semenyo, despite an injury doubt, clearly played a huge role in this in this move. It ended up in the back of the net.
Yeah.
But for a foul that was given by Solanke on the keeper.
Yeah. So my thing with this is that Solanke's not playing the ball, he's playing the player. There he is, not even looking at the ball, and he's gone to nudge Raya just before he's gone to leap to punch it. You know, and look, Raya's just got his eyes on the ball. He gets a decent punch on it, but he has been impeded by the player. You know, Solanke knows exactly what he's doing.
Darren?
Yeah, Joe, it probably is by the letter of the law, but I do feel Arsenal maybe have got away with one there, because yes, he hasn't played the ball, but there's not a lot of contact, is there? But again, we saw it at Chelsea Aston Villa. Classic example, Badiashiel's into Diego Carlos's back. They cross it, they score, they disallow it. So what you can say is at least there's consistency.
Split decision in the studio. That only calls for a referee. Dermot Gallagher joins us now in the match centre. Dermot, always good to see you. Was the referee, David Coote, right to rule that one out?
Great angle from behind the goal, Manish, where you see that Solanke actually not only gives him a little nudge, but he puts his arm under Raya's arm, and I think that's enough to pull him back, which just puts him off balance. Look here. This is it there. He just pins his arm there, which just knocks him off balance, which is the arm he's going to punch with. On-field, referee's call. He gave it on-field. VAR looks at that, never going to be overturned. I wouldn't even say it's an error.
So any suggestions that there wasn't enough to impede Raya?
I think that's the angle there that I was talking about, Manish. What he does, he just pins his arm underneath, which is enough to put him off as he goes to punch the ball, and that's why he missed punches.
Yeah. OK. What about Arsenal's first goal, which came from the penalty spot? The challenge made by the Bournemouth keeper, Mark Travers, on Kai Havertz.
Again, referee's call, Manish. You know, if you look at it, Havertz is bearing down on goal. Travers comes out with his feet. I think that's the key issue for me. He comes out with his feet. And if you see that, I think everybody would say penalty. You see this, you maybe say you're not so convinced because does he go into him? But once he comes out with his feet like that, he's got to get the ball, and he doesn't.
The insinuation of that left foot, though, dragging along the ground, almost catching Travers.
Yeah, I get that, Manish, but what you would say, if you look at that at speed, you see the speed he's come out and how much he misses the ball, I think the expectation is penalty. When we slow it down, we always get a different view. But the referee's call was penalty. VAR is never going to overturn.
You know, when he puts his foot out like that, if he's not touching the ball, he's leaving himself vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's the same if you go out with your arm.
Yes, and you've been in that position.
I've been in that position, yes.
Yeah. All right, Dermot, thanks very much indeed. In the end, you know, a huge 3 points as far as Arsenal are concerned.
Yeah, keep them wins coming. You know, it's a massive 3 points. Put the pressure back onto City now, you know, and just hope for a little slip-up, you know, whether that's a draw or a loss. All we can do is just keep winning and you know, keep that going to the end of the season. Massive game at Old Trafford next week. But, yeah, we'll see how City get on. I think they play twice before we do.
They do, yeah. Defensively, keeping a clean sheet, how important is that at this stage?
Yeah, it's huge, because you spoke about the 2 goals they gifted him against Tottenham. I still thought they defended well against Tottenham, but again, the David Raya clip and the Declan Rice, again, we don't ever see him do that, make rash decisions. So it was, and they were tested today, certainly second half. First half, I thought Bournemouth were a bit passive, other than the Gabriel, a little mix-up between him and David Raya. But other than that, second half, they had to kind of dig in at times. They started to add 1 or 2 more passes in that final third, create real problems. But you're right, it almost looks like you see the centre-backs and the defenders celebrating like they've scored a goal. Every time one of them puts a block or clears the ball, they're celebrating with each other, and that might stand them in good stead from now to the end of the season.
Yeah, David Raya, and confirmed as the Golden Glove winner as well for this season.
Yeah, congratulations to him. You know, it's his first season at Arsenal. You know, so yeah, it's a great achievement. You know, him and especially the 2 centre-halves. You know, they've been a really strong defensive unit throughout the season. Yeah,
good news for Darren Bent in terms of Arsenal picking up all 3 points, and also former club Ipswich Town back in the Premier League, which has just kind of happened in the last half an hour or so. After 22 years, the Tractor Boys are back. It came courtesy of a 3-0 win in the end, if I'm not mistaken. Darren was part of the last Ipswich side to play in the Premier League, and this is how he reacted to the result as it unfolded. What, Sanchez?
Yes!
There's no celebration from me.
We'll see you next season. Go on to town!
Back-to-back promotions from League One under Kieran McKenna, former Manchester United coach.
Yeah.
They've been a revelation.
Next season, Premier League then, isn't it? Promotion. Premier League.
You got to calm down.
What a job he's done there. I mean, it's been fantastic. League One. I mean, back-to-back promotions is hard, but to do it in the way that he's done it with the likes of Leeds there, Southampton, Leicester, big clubs in the division. All credit to Kieran McKenna and his coaching staff. Absolutely superb. Great club.
Yeah, fantastic. OK, time for a quick break on Matchday Live.
Thoughts on Arsenal and Tottenham? If not for that one-week blip where they lost to Aston Villa and bow out of the Champions League, Arsenal have been by far the most impressive team this season. They have the best defensive record. They blow teams away by huge margin of goals, which leave them with the top goal difference, worth a point at least. Even after that week of disappointment, they are now pretty much faultless. It is not their choice, however. They have to be because reigning champions Manchester City have games in hand, which if they win all the remaining games, there is nothing Arsenal can do about it. They will be crowned champions for the 4th consecutive time. But the way Arsenal played this season, it will be a shame if they did not win the Premier League. Tottenham Hotspur's club, on the other hand, have had a very good start to the season led by their new coach Ange Postecoglou. Since then, they have fallen off due to injuries and other reasons in the middle of the season. Still, they are in prime place to fight for the Champions League spot with Aston Villa. Villa currently have more points, but Spurs have an advantage if they win all their games in hand. They are also on a course in the remaining matches of the season to play the top 3 Arsenal, Man City and Liverpool, which puts them in a position to be kingmakers or title deniers. They also have a history of good records previously against the top 3 teams.